Personally, I'm maintaining a very bullish bias. What's happening right now is that the institutions are just drawing the shorts into the market. They need more and more of them to propel crypto up to greater and greater heights. Therefore, I'm holding a medium-term, really good positive outlook for crypto, but a short-term negative bearish sentiment. When the institutions have pulled enough people into the market from the short perspective, they're going to rally price up and rally it hard. Their focus is literally to grab this liquidity as fast as they can and then pull all the shorts in, as many as they can. When they've done that, they will reverse course and do so in a huge way. But remember, everything is structurally bound. In this video, I'm going to give you an insight into how I'm looking at the market and what I'm keeping my eyes on. But first, I'm going to give you some really important insights into what you need to look for. If you don't have these insights, you will struggle making any profitability out of the crypto market. Let's run the numbers. Just putting on the structural levels for Bitcoin. Yesterday we were about here and things started taking off. One of the things that I always just say that you keep your eye on are the structural levels. If you know where the structural levels are, you'll know where the sellers are coming in to try to push price down. Also, you'll know where the support levels are inside the market. And you can see we cut through this 69,156 level, but we were caught by structural support at 66,961. You can also note that we've just been retesting that 67,519 area. So literally how it worked in yesterday's video, we saw that price came up through that positive fresh air gap, stalled at structural support, and that structural support was at 69,778. And you can look to the right for these numbers, because when we're looking on the basis of structure, we already know where the structure is inside the market. So from 67,519, we would expect an upward price momentum to 68,156. You can see how these are rightward looking. That's the way that you want to look at them. And also, when you have a negative fresh air gap, it may take a couple of safety net levels for it to turn around and start to base out. I mentioned that previously. Because we've seen a bit of negative price momentum, a lot of people will be just assuming that price can only go down. Just please keep your eye on this 66,118 level. It's quite important. There's a good degree of structure here. We should see a structural bounce and even a reversion back to higher prices. But please let me know, are you expecting a bearish case or a bullish case? You expecting something like this for a bullish case, or are you expecting a bearish case on Bitcoin? Please let me know in the comments. It's really good to gauge yourself how you just interpret, because a lot of people would just interpret this negative price momentum as meaning it must follow through. Now we've done this, I'll just move this line to here so we can just gauge it tomorrow. And just remember, these structural levels look towards the right, not back towards the left. They're a leading indicator of price, and you can use them to determine how things are going. Yesterday, total crypto market cap was here. We saw Bitcoin rally up and total just get above a structural resistance level, but it couldn't hold it and it broke down. Now, why was this the case? Because Bitcoin just came up to its structural resistance and couldn't break through. That pulled the entire crypto market down to a level of structural support. Now we're just seeing that play out literally in real time. It could be really helpful to understand when you overlay Bitcoin's price action on total crypto market cap. Look what you're getting. You're seeing a pretty good directional correlation just playing out at the moment. And you notice it's a little bit stronger. That's because of Ethereum. Turning to Ethereum, you can see Bitcoin's gravitational pull has not brought Ethereum down as much as Bitcoin has come down. This is actually quite unusual, but to be expected, because Ethereum has been hammered recently. Knowing the structural levels is an absolute game changer, so I've just popped them up here. You can see that Ethereum hit that 33.95 mark and said, ouch, I've got a headache. I need a break. And you know that Bitcoin fell through a fresh air gap and needed several levels to capture price. We got Ethereum capturing its own structure inside 33.02 and 32.91. Of course, there was a little bit of overshoot, but that's really common. These are not brick walls, they're safety nets, so they can just have a bit of give inside them. But we can see at the 33.45 mark, right now, Ethereum currently 33.42 is rejecting that. If it manages to get above here, it can push up to the 33.95 mark where it was. But we would expect some degree of consolidation around here because we've got some reasonable structural levels at play there. If we get negative price momentum, we would expect to get caught 33.02, 32.91. If we lose that, we're on the way to 32.46. It just gives you so much confidence to look inside the market and place trades. Remember, you don't have to make big percentages to make big percentages. If you know what I mean, please describe what I mean to anybody who's new to the channel. It's a really good thing to clarify in your own mind as well. In yesterday's video, we were looking at Solana, what eventuated after that point. We saw that 182.57 mark be held as quite good structural support, and we nearly came up to the 194.49 level, but we know no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. What was happening? In this particular part of price action, you can see it was weakening. Solana has been on a tear. It's absorbed a lot of flows, and that means you're going to get capital reformation occurring inside the market. You're going to have capital transfers between Solana and different alts, such as Ethereum. This is just the way that the big institutions move. Institutional investors are always chasing yield, which means a percentage return. So if they got it on Solana and they think they can get a better one on ETH, they're going to transfer their funds. But that doesn't mean Solana's going to zero, not by any stretch of the word. Solana is a fantastic project. But you just need to be aware, the allegiances that you may hold for a specific crypto, institutions don't do that. Please let me know, are you feeling bullish or bearish on Solana? Do you think we're just going to find support at this 182.57 and make our way up to 194.49? Or do you think we'll lose this and make our way down to 173.35? If I just change this a little bit, you can see at that 170.12 mark, that is a really good area. Inside the crypto market, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. What does this mean? The top alts all follow Bitcoin's gravity, as well as the smaller alt projects. If Bitcoin is coming down, you have a 99% probability that your alts are joining it. If Bitcoin is coming up, again, 99% probability. The alts have what's called directional correlation with Bitcoin's price action. If you look at Ethereum, when Bitcoin was coming down like this, what did Ethereum do? It came down. Ethereum has been somewhat weak of late, but that may just start to turn around as a lot of people have been burnt with ETH. They're just saying, oh, I don't want to go anywhere near Ethereum. And the institutions would say, mission accomplished, let's get in and buy it when nobody is looking, when they're all burnt. And this is how the institutional mindset is. Please be aware of it. When we look at Binance Coin, we can see Bitcoin's gravitational pull or directional correlation playing out quite well. You can see Solana has become a little weak. This was anticipated the last time Ethereum just rallied like hell. Solana came down. We've seen Solana being really strong, outperforming Ethereum by an order of magnitude. I expect a rotation in here, just be aware of that. In yesterday's video, I showed you how XRP is obeying Bitcoin's gravitational pull all the way through, even though it looks like it's inverting. It's actually, inverters are just an overextension of an upside. That's it, and an underextension of a downside. So please be aware. Inverters are great to look at, and Tron is something that you should keep your eye on as well. When we look at Doge, just following Bitcoin's gravitational pull, ADA, Cardano just following, and Bitcoin Cash. If you look at Bitcoin Cash, it's just literally following, but it's inverting to a degree because it's overextending Bitcoin's upward price percentage. But we expect this of the alts, but just be aware. This means that when you see price action like this, it's the undercurrent of Bitcoin Cash is just the directional movement in Bitcoin. It's just overextending the upside and underextending the downside. But it's still following Bitcoin's gravitational pull. That's why you must really be aware of what Bitcoin is doing. And a lot of people new to the industry don't know anything about this. We have an amazing Borsog family, and for everybody who commented on Borsog yesterday, you are absolutely awesome. And please just realize that there's no such thing as a bull market and a bear market. There is simply a Borsog market. All we do, and I know it's a bit of a weird term, but we buy on red and we sell on green, and you can make an absolute financial fortune from doing so. And it doesn't matter what the market is doing. It can be bullish, it can be bearish, it just doesn't matter to us. Rule 45 will really help you out. No altcoin can escape Bitcoin's gravity. The good news is, if Bitcoin is coming up, guess what the alts are going to do? They're going to join it. This is why looking at Bitcoin's gravitational pull is really, really important. You can see the alts starting to kick up as Bitcoin kicks up. And the memes are a really interesting area. They've got a lot of high liquidity. They're really good to look at. We can see that real-world assets are starting to turn around. Maker is out in front, CHR at the bottom. In the ETH ecosystem, Ethereum up the top, W down the bottom. I'll come back to gaming in a minute. We can see that Bohm has just jumped and Helium down the bottom. In AI and Big Data, near up the top and TIA down the bottom. Inside the service, Solana and ADA are down the bottom, ETH and BNB up the top. In the memes, Bohm and Pepe are crushing it, and 1000 sats down the bottom. Distributed computing and file storage up the top, Bluezell down the bottom at the moment. And in gaming, BNX up the top and IMX down the bottom. The key is, all of this is paired to Bitcoin's gravitational pull. If you know where Bitcoin is going, you know where the sectors are going. Looking at wallets, 1 inch up the top, safe, not feeling too safe, down the bottom. In DeFi, Maker up the top, W down the bottom. In Binance Labs, 1 up the top and Rose down the bottom. In Deepin, Theta the top and IO down the bottom. Central exchanges, it's all looking pretty much the same. In decentralized exchanges, Rune is crushing it. IDEX is at the back of the pack. Bitcoin ecosystem, Riff up the top and ICP down the bottom. Wasn't it interesting? Just a couple of days ago, ICP was crushing it. Yeah, welcome to crypto. Layer 2, IMX up the top and Blast is having a lot of fun down the back of the pack. If you're liking the content so far, please smash that like button, and if you're going through a life pullback, please know that our love and healing thoughts are with you. You're not alone, and that pullback is setting you up for the next life rally. Anytime you look at the crypto market, I would like you to focus on Bitcoin's gravitational pull first, knowing the structural levels inside Bitcoin. They will play into every single alt, and the alts all have their own structure underneath their charts. So just be aware of these two things. The interplay between them is called intercorrelation. We can see for the top alts in the crypto market, Ethereum number 2, Solana, BNB, XRP, and Doge. The greatest gainers past 24 hours, boom, really coming up. BSV, AIOZ, Maker, Bitcoin Cash, Aave, and Brett. And we can see much healthier returns in the top gainers. Yesterday, it wasn't looking too good. Popcat leading the back of the pack, followed by Helium, Conflux, BitTensor, Leo, ICP, Render, and Wild WorldCoin. And we can see it's between 2 and about 5.5%. But all of this is dependent on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin is just crushing it, everything is coming up. And the list of the greatest losers would be stable coins. So when you see that, the market is very overheated. Inside financial markets, things are pretty complex. Bitcoin, we know, impacts the entire crypto universe, but Bitcoin cannot escape from the stock market's gravity. When you look at Bitcoin, you can see the Nasdaq. As the Nasdaq is going up, Bitcoin is going up. And as the Nasdaq is coming down, Bitcoin is coming down. This is really common stuff. People confuse directional correlation with absolute correlation. The two couldn't be more different. In our community, we look at directional correlation because that's what we need to be looking at. That is, if we want to make money. We can see that the DXY just spiked in the past trading session. That put a lot of negative price momentum into Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin has been coming down. We're not seeing the yield spike up as well at the current time. It's just primarily due to dollar strength. And if the yields start to go for it and the dollar starts to go for it, expect a lot of negative price momentum, not just on Bitcoin, but also inside the commodity space, such as gold. When you're setting up your trading plans for the day, please keep in mind the S&P 500 futures, the NASDAQ futures, the Dow futures, and the Russell futures. The Russell is particularly associated with Bitcoin at the current time. We saw that the Russell came down, and this is due for a lot of reasons, especially the DXY spiking up. A lot of people from a retail perspective would say, oh, okay, we've hit a level of structural support. We'll look at that in a moment, if we have or not. And then people would say, oh, okay, if we lose this one is close. This is called recent indicative price analysis. And the RIP stands for burying your money in the ground, but unfortunately not in a good way. Recent indicative price analysis is how most people look at price inside all markets, and it's statistically insignificant. We need to look across all of price history to understand where the true resistance and true support levels are. But from a RIP perspective, people would be saying Bitcoin should be going up to 71,500, or the downside is around 61. What I've done, just looking at the 1 week basis, I put these levels onto the 1 day, and you can see them playing in here. The 4 hour, those levels are playing in. And for the 30 minutes, you can see that one just there. The key is to always know where the structural levels are. If we look at just this RIP analysis, those are the two layers on Bitcoin's price. But when we pop on the indicator and do our level 1 and level 2 standard certification, we see a lot more depth in the data. We know that we came up to a structural level and it was rejected, but we have a considerable amount of structural support below. We can see this $61,000 level. There's a bit of a fresh air gap. Now, what does that mean? A positive fresh air gap can be filled very quickly, but it can quickly become a negative fresh air gap, and that's what we're experiencing right now. With level 1 and level 2 standard certification, at least we know where these gaps are, and I'll make sure that I cover them on the daily channel. Recent indicative price would say that we could go down and reach around 61,000. You can notice here and down here, there's a lot of structural underpinning support below the $59,000 level, and really not much structural support around the 61,000. In fact, below 61,000, there isn't any. It's a negative fresh air gap. This is why we say that the CTKS method gives us X-ray vision inside the market, because we know where smart money is buying and selling. Bitcoin's gravitational pull is really important, as is total. Please let me know in the comments, what would you like to see in terms of structural levels in tomorrow's video? And you can get all the indicators for structure of all the Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3 charts from ctksmethod.org. There were some awesome comments on Borsog. We found that secret word and we have just an amazing community. In this video, let's make positive excellence the secret word. Perhaps pop something in the comments about positive excellence, and especially what you like. We've covered a huge amount of ground. What I wanted to just express to you, just to look at Bitcoin's gravity will be an absolute game changer for you. And combining those concepts with structure, understanding the price is just moving between support and resistance levels. And then combining that with your rules, you'll find that you actually look at the market through a completely different perspective. Instead of being scared and following the herd, you'll be prepared and ready to take advantage of any volatility inside the market, therefore moving from fear into confidence. The absolute best thing that you can do at any time is to know where the structure is and make sure that you're looking across as many markets as possible. Make sure that you're looking at the price reality of the Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3 charts. Many people get caught up in narratives and stories and just believe that the crypto market and any market will do as the newspapers say. It won't. It will do as the charts say. And that's the thing that you want to focus on. Another secret word, just to know that you made it up to this point. We always learn from our lessons in life. Things don't go as expected all the time. And when things don't go as expected, we just fall back on positive excellence. Why do we do this? Because it's important to stay patient, calm, and balanced. In the comments, if you just pop something in to do with lessons, I'll know you made it this far, and you're absolutely awesome. Thank you for sharing this time together. Kate and I appreciate you so very much. And see you in the next video. Bye for now.